Okay, this video is to detail my experiences with changing out one of the HVAC servos on my 2004 Lexus SC430. I'm hoping this video might be of some assistance to somebody out there who's doing some similar work or some troubleshooting on their vehicle. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show the controls, and then I'm also going to use the onboard diagnostic system to run a test, kind of go through the sequence and make sure everything is running properly. Now, I'm not a professional mechanic, and I've tried to be as accurate as possible, but please do your own research. And I would certainly encourage anyone who's got a similar problem to look in and see if you could do this repair yourself. I understand that if you take this to a Lexus dealership, they might charge you $300, $400, $500 to do this repair. Now, I'm looking here in the passenger side footwell. I have removed the lower trim panel and the glove box to get a little bit better access to the area. Now, just to kind of set the stage here, I'm looking right to left. And I apologize, this video is probably going to be a little shaky, but it's hard to hold the camera steady and kind of lean down into here and look up. So anyway, what I've got here is the blower motor for this system. Right above here is behind this plate is the cabin air filter. And above that is the damper, right where my finger is here, for which will switch the air inlet from fresh air to recirculating air. And I'm going to see if I can move my light maybe and see if you can see that damper a little better. There it is right there. Now this car is equipped with 5 different servo damper controls, and the first one I'll show is the one up here that actually controls the recirculating damper. It is right here where my finger is. The electrical control is right there. There's the actual servo motor, and then if you look to the right, that white plastic, and again I'll try to see if I can adjust my light, that white plastic piece coming out of the servo connects into the linkage, and that's what provides the motion for the recirculating damper. Looking a little bit further to the left, this connector, I removed it from its post just so I could gain a little bit better access. It's very easy to remove. The second servo is right here. This is the air outlet, or they sometimes call this the mode servo. And what this does is changes the airflow from the defrost mode to the face vents to the floor vent and combinations thereof. And again, you can see the actuator coming out of the servo, which connects into the linkage into the system. Below that is the air mix servo. This controls the temperature for the passenger side of the vehicle. And again, it's got a similar setup where it's got an actuator coming out of the servo, which connects into linkage into the HVAC system. Now, I didn't show you beginning. There's actually, just to gain a little bit better access, I removed part of the floor vent duct right here. It's just held in place with 2 screws. I just removed that so I could get a little bit better access to the system. Now, a few months ago, I started getting some noise from up underneath the dash on the passenger side, and this is pretty indicative of a problem with one of these servos. These things can get dirty, they can get worn, and they can start making noise like clicking noise, maybe a rubbing noise. They can also just fail to function or function properly, so your air conditioning system or your heater may not be providing the appropriate temperature controls, or it may not be directing the airflow out the proper vents. So it's incumbent upon you to go in and take a look and make any repairs. I did an onboard, I used the onboard air conditioning diagnostic system to provide or go in and see if I could find any diagnostic trouble codes. And I found a 33 and a 43, which both are related to the air outlet servo. One of those trouble codes is for the position circuit, and the other is for the motor circuit. And again, I found that I had an issue, so I went ahead and got into the system and started doing some checking. And sure enough, that that air outlet servo control wasn't functioning properly. Now, to remove the servo, it's really relatively easy on there. It's held in place with 3 Phillips head screws. I've got one here, and one back in here. I'm hoping I'm in focus and you can see where I'm talking about. Let me get just a little bit closer, maybe too. Okay, again, well, here is one of the screws. Here's the second. The third is back here. It's a little difficult to get to that third one. I had to use a short, stubby Phillips screwdriver to gain access. Once you get the screws out, you can kind of pull this out, and then the electrical connection for this is right up top. You can just disconnect the connector on there. And this, there's lots of videos online which kind of show how these can be repaired, and I tried to repair the unit, but it did not function properly. I did the repair, I reinstalled it, and it still didn't function properly. And so I ended up going and getting an aftermarket servo off of Amazon. I think it was like $35. A new one, a new OEM unit, I believe is about $150. So anyway, I used the aftermarket. It seems to be functioning properly. Here is the old unit right here. There's the actuator arm right there. And the electrical connection is right on top there. I don't know that that's going to come out. Oh, excuse me. Wait a minute. I just turned it wrong. There is the electrical connection up on top. I don't know if you can see it very well. But anyway, that is it. And this apparently is junk. Now, I'm going to go ahead and run a test for this to see if all of these servos are functioning properly, and I'm kind of stalling here. I've got a few notes that I wanted to make sure that I hit all of the points that that might be interesting to anybody on here. Like I said, I'm looking through my notes here. I believe I've got everything. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and go up top and see if I can start the system here. Okay, I'm up here at my air conditioning control panel right now, and I've put it into the diagnostic test mode. Basically, to do that, you touch and hold the recirculating button, the auto button, and then turn the ignition on. You'll get flashing lights on the display, and then it will go into the sensor test. And right now, if you see, I've got diagnostic trouble codes of 21 and 24 that are showing. That is for the solar sensor, both the driver and the passenger side. And you'll get that if you're doing this test in a dark area like a garage. And I'm in my garage, and it's showing those codes. I was doing this test out in the driveway the other day, and it didn't have these codes, and so I know everything is okay. You might notice that the 33 and the 43 codes that I mentioned earlier, they're not showing up. So it looks like I have done something correct on here. So what I'm going to do now is enter the activation test mode. And I'm going to do that by hitting the recirculating button again. Okay, if you notice on there, we're counting up now over here on the left. We got 3, 4, and it goes all the way up to 9. And what this does is it creates the different scenarios with the AC and heating system. It opens and closes the dampers, controls the fan speed, and really exercise the system so that you can see if there's any issues. And right now it is counting up, and it's in number 9 mode, and I just froze that by hitting the driver temperature up button. And for number 9 condition, and you'll need a chart like this that you can get off you can get off the internet or off of a repair manual, but display code number 9 means the blower level is at the highest level. The airflow vent is on the defrost mode. The air inlet damper is set at recirculating. The magnetic clutch is set on. The air mix damper is set on fully open, which is the warmest setting. And then the lap jet damper is closed. What I'm going to do though, this is again, I've just got it set on number 9. If I hit recirculating again, now it's going to go into a continuous function, and it's going to go into a continuous function. Now I'm going to go underneath the dash, and I'll show you how these different servos activate. And also you'll hear the blower fan change speed as well as it goes through it. You can see it's just counting up. 1, 2, and it just continues that all the way up to 9. So let me see if I can get down underneath the dash here. This is a little bit harder to do the older you get. But anyway, I'm going to first concentrate on this recirculating mode, and see if I can adjust my light here so you can see this damper. Now right now it is, well, let me start back again. It moved. Okay, now I believe it is in the full recirculating mode. And as this thing sequence, give it just a minute here, it should start to close. Okay, now it's fully closed. That should be full fresh air, I believe. Then it opens partially, and then it opens fully. And really what I was looking at is that the control is nice and smooth and no noise at all, so that seems to be functioning properly. Now I'm going to concentrate on the air mix damper. Hoping this will focus properly. And I believe, okay, let me let this run through, and I'm looking right here now at that arm, and let me wait for this thing to go. I believe this portion right here means it's in the cool portion or fully closed. I believe that's what it is. Now we're about at 50%. This is a warm and cool, and now it's all the way up to fully open into the warm mode. And again, the motion is nice and steady, no noise, and that seems to be working properly as well. And then the last servo is the one that I replaced, the air outlet, and you can kind of see the arm move as it moves between the different settings. And I don't know which one is which. I'm just looking for the full movement, and I'm also just making sure that there's no noise coming from that unit, and it seems to be operating very smoothly and quietly. So I believe I think I got this thing fixed. Looks like all I need to do is button this thing back up and call it a day. So anyway, I hope this has been of some help to somebody. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the diagnostic test, and I just do that by hitting the off button up here. Okay, that shuts it off. I think I've got everything else. I had mentioned that there were 5 servos. There's 3 here that I showed you. The 4th one is the air mix servo for the driver's side. It's on the other side of the console. The 5th servo is for the lap jet servo, and that's in here behind this panel, and you can't see this from here. So I believe that's it. Thanks for watching.